What happened to Watch Dogs? The franchise's downfall was quite tragic. When Watch Dogs was first announced at E3 2012, it generated a wave of excitement. The concept was fresh and provocative, giving players the power to hack an entire city in real time, manipulating infrastructure, communication, and surveillance with the touch of a button. It promised a bold new take on open-world gameplay, blending cyberpunk aesthetics with social commentary. In the wake of games like GTA 4 and Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs stood poised to become Ubisoft's next big IP. But the trajectory from anticipation to apathy was steep and sudden. The original Watch Dogs launched in 2014 to decent commercial success but mixed critical reception. Much of the criticism stemmed from the infamous graphical downgrade. What players were promised in the E3 reveal was not what they received. While the hacking mechanics and world design were novel, protagonist Aiden Pierce failed to connect with audiences. His grim demeanor and one-dimensional motivations rendered the story forgettable. Still, the game sold well enough to justify a sequel, and Ubisoft clearly took the criticism seriously when developing Watch Dogs 2. With Watch Dogs 2, the tone shifted dramatically. Gone was the brooding lone wolf. In came Marcus Holloway, a younger and more likable hacker operating within a colorful team of Dead CC members. The San Francisco setting was vibrant, the gameplay systems were expanded and refined, and the missions allowed for more creativity. Critically, Watch Dogs 2 was a much stronger game than its predecessor. Yet despite its improvements, it underperformed commercially. The damage from the first game's overpromising had already taken its toll on public trust, and many players were reluctant to reinvest. Then came Watch Dogs Legion, a bold experiment that aimed to reinvent the franchise by letting players control almost any NPC in its dystopian London setting. On paper, it was ambitious, a game where no single protagonist existed, and where your team could be composed of anyone from construction workers to grandmas. Unfortunately, in execution, this led to a diluted narrative with little emotional weight. Characters felt generic, and the loss of a central figure made it hard for players to care. The novelty of recruiting anyone quickly wore off when gameplay repetition and shallow personality systems revealed themselves. Technically, Legion was also troubled. Launch bugs, performance issues, and inconsistent AI behavior further marred the experience. Ubisoft had once again overreached in their ambition and underdelivered in polish. By this point, the franchise's reputation had eroded significantly, and Legion didn't have the cultural impact or sales figures to justify further large-scale investment. What was once a flagship property for Ubisoft was now seen as a cautionary tale in overselling innovation and under-delivering substance. Beyond the games themselves, Watch Dogs suffered from a broader identity crisis. It never fully figured out what it wanted to be. Was it a grim cyberpunk thriller, a rebellious satire of tech culture, or a sandbox for hacking hijinks? Each installment tried something drastically different, which fractured the fanbase and prevented the series from building a consistent tone or lore. While experimentation is commendable, it also revealed that Ubisoft didn't have a clear long-term vision for the franchise beyond marketing hooks. In retrospect, Watch Dogs was a franchise born of the right idea at the wrong time, mishandled by a publisher more interested in box art promises than cohesive world building. Had Ubisoft taken more time to refine its gameplay systems, tighten its stories, and maintain consistency, Watch Dogs might have become a lasting staple of the open-world genre. Instead, it became a symbol of squandered potential, a victim of its own hype and an audience that had simply moved on. The tragedy of Watch Dogs lies in the promise it once held, a digital playground where the modern age of surveillance, data, and rebellion could be explored through a compelling narrative and immersive mechanics. But in chasing trends and novelty, Ubisoft lost sight of the core: meaningful characters, believable stakes, and player-driven consequence. And so, Watch Dogs, once seen as the future of gaming, became a relic of unfulfilled ambition, slowly fading into obscurity.